everyone. Thank you so much for joining in for this week's webinar. And like every Thursday, we have come with yet another topic. And this time, what we have done is I've asked my team to collect all the FAQs, the frequently asked questions that we had in our previous webinar when it comes to HubSpot and ABM. So we had a bunch of questions. We already have done a series on HubSpot and ABM. So if you have not watched it, please go back and watch that webinar series. We have at least 3 long webinars that we have done in which we have gone step by step into detailed execution of how you can execute your company's account-based marketing campaigns using HubSpot, right? But while we did that, we had a bunch of questions. So what we did, okay, fine, let's go ahead and create a couple of more presentation in which we are going to address those questions that came up. So today's webinar and the next webinar is going to be divided into 2 parts, part 1 and part 2. This is the part 1, and in which I want to take up the most frequently asked question when it comes to HubSpot and ABM, and I'll try to answer as many as I can. All right, so are we ready? Let's get started. So what is HubSpot ABM and how it helps B2B sales? Okay, Q&A part 1. All right. So what exactly is HubSpot and how does it differ from other CRMs? Yeah, that's a pretty good question. So HubSpot started off as a CRM, which is customer relationship management software. It was a competitor to Salesforce. Salesforce was one of the big players at that point of time. I'm talking about early 2000s. And Salesforce was one of the big players competing with the big ones like the SAPs and the Oracles and the Microsoft Dynamics and others. But HubSpot was launched in the early 2000s as a CRM. But then over the years, it has evolved into so much more. Okay. How does it differ from other CRM? Because HubSpot is not just a CRM now, it is a complete, it is not just a CRM now, it is a complete system for marketing, sales, and service. So it started off as a CRM, as a pipeline management, as a customer relationship management, as a deal management software, but now it can do so much more. It can do marketing. It has a marketing hub, it has a sales hub, it has a service hub, and it has got so much more. So now it can cover a lot of areas when it comes to your company, and it's like an all-in-one platform. It's not just a CRM; it's a platform. It's an integrated platform with different modules, and the good thing about that is that your team does not need to switch from one system to another system. You don't have to do this complex integrations, and you can just basically log into one system and do a bunch of stuff all together. Whether you have a marketing team, sales team, or a customer support team, and like so on. So it's pretty easy, and it also has a very large marketplace by which you can integrate or add on a lot more products and service if you want. Okay. HubSpot is also very easy to use. I'm going to show you the small snapshot of the HubSpot system that we are using in a couple of minutes. It's a very easy to use CRM as compared to the SAPs and the Salesforce. Pretty easy. It's very user friendly. I think HubSpot was designed pretty well, in my opinion. I have used all of them. Certainly, I can say, as compared to most of the enterprise softwares, HubSpot is one of the easiest and the most, from the user experience point of view, is one of the most friendly software to use. Okay, and it has a strong inbound and automation focus. So, what is inbound? In fact, the term inbound marketing was coined by HubSpot itself. Okay, so there is something called as outbound marketing. That means, you give them a call, you send them a LinkedIn message, you do an outreach email. That was outbound, right? Outbound marketing. But HubSpot coined this term called inbound marketing. So they They created the entire system around this concept of inbound marketing. I think they have moved on from that concept now. They don't talk about inbound marketing anymore. But initially, they are the ones who coined the term inbound marketing. That means, if you are running ads, or if you are running social media campaigns, or if you are doing SEOs, your website is attracting traffic and like so on, then you can integrate all these different systems to HubSpot, and all the leads from different sources can be pushed into HubSpot organically, automatically, which is what they call as inbound. So instead of you reaching out to the customer, you create the system out there like ads and social media and SEOs and website and content and like so, and then you content all of them back to HubSpot, and then you will start generating leads, inbound, right? If somebody's calling up, even that can be pushed into HubSpot. If somebody is filling up your contact us form, that can be pushed into HubSpot, and like so on. So HubSpot was built as an inbound system, not an outbound system, and I think to this day this holds true, right? In many ways, it's still an inbound system, but they have a lot more feature now, in terms of marketing, sales, and service, and like so on. So this is my own HubSpot, as you can see. So they have got this basic CRM feature, which is free, by the way. So you can use this for free if you want. And there's a bunch of stuff which is there. So you can use this free CRM anytime you want. It has the contacts, the companies, the basic features that any CRM typically has, the leads, the deals, and the companies and accounts and like so on, right? So it has all of that. But on top of that, on top of CRM, it has got a bunch of other features as well, right? It has got marketing, so that means you can run email campaigns, you can run social media campaigns, you can run ad, you can integrate ad accounts to your Facebook ad account and LinkedIn ad account and Google ad account. You can run ads directly from HubSpot. It has got event tracking, so you can track the events, very similar to how GDM works. It has got forms, so you can create forms and HubSpot and embed it into different places like blogs and website and other places. It also has some advanced B2B ABM tools like buyer intent, something that you will get in Zoom Infos, and Cognizants, you get that kind of feature there, but HubSpot has those inbuilt features now. And of course, this traditional lead scorings and journeys. Journeys basically, it's like a workflow that you can create to map the journey of the actions that you're going to take based on the actions that your users take, right? For example, if your users come down to pricing page, check out the pricing page, then possibly you can create a journey, and then you can, send a follow-up email to them, stuff like those. So now it has got multiple hubs. Then, it has got content hub or CMS, very similar to what a WordPress is. So this, they call it CMS hub or content hub, where you can create website, landing pages, blogs, case studies, bunch of stuff. You can do SEO, just like how WordPress is. And they have got sales hub. This is where your sales team can manage their pipeline deals and other stuff. And they also have got a commerce hub where you can do a payment gateway, product subscription. Commerce hub is also free, by the way, but they charge a little bit of commission of every payment that is happening. Okay, but you can create, they don't have their own payment engine. So you have to connect it to either PayPal or Stripe. But they have created this complete commerce hub by which you can do the payments, take the payments, via Stripe or PayPal, as I said, and it's only applicable in US. I don't think so it is outside of US, it's available. But you can create invoices and payment links and quotes and orders and products and like so on, right? You can even take subscription, by the way. So as I said, it has got a bunch of feature. It also has a service feature. That means if you have a customer service team, they can use HubSpot. So they've got a bunch of features, right? So it's very useful, and it's so much more than just a CRM, right? Okay, all right. Let's move on to the next one. What makes HubSpot a good fit for companies starting with account-based marketing? Okay, now we're going to the zone of HubSpot and account-based marketing. Okay, so I'm assuming that most of you understand what is account-based marketing. Account-based marketing is a very B2B term where the companies they target very specific accounts. Account means companies, and then they find out people working on those companies, and then they create very specific campaigns. Email campaign, LinkedIn campaign, ad campaign, specific to those companies and accounts, and even phone calls and other stuff, right? So it's a very B2B specific term that is generally people like us use that a lot. If you're not aware of what account-based marketing is, we have a lot of content that we have created around ABM or account-based marketing. You can check that out. But in short, account-based marketing is that you target a certain set of accounts, for example, Fortune 500 companies. Out of that, 50 companies in Fortune 500 companies, and you only target those companies and people working for those companies for your product and service. So it's very specific, right? It's not like a general digital marketing where you just reach out to the whole world. Okay, now what makes HubSpot a good fit for companies starting with account-based marketing? So if your company uh, is a startup or a B2B enterprise, a large company, and your product and service is very specific to certain type of companies, and your target audience is companies falling under certain industry, and there are a lot of decision makers, then possibly you need account-based marketing, right? If you're selling a low ticket item, if you're selling $10 product, you don't need account-based marketing, right? Because you're not going to put all the effort which account-based marketing or ABM needs to sell a $10 product. But if you're selling a $100,000 product, right, then that means you have a very specific target. You are a B2B operator. Your deal size is big, maybe $100,000, $500,000, or $1 million, whatever it is, and the sales cycle is longer, right? The decision makers are in. Then ABM is the right fit. But the question is, once you have realized that ABM is the right fit for you in terms of marketing, what tools are the good tools, right? Generally, the first tool that comes into the mind is Salesforce. People work with Salesforce a lot, and then there are other tools as well. There's demand base and the Cognizants and the Zoom Infos. They're all tools, but for different functions. HubSpot is a very good tool for starting ABM, and HubSpot is also like a centralized management system. HubSpot is, in my opinion, is a platform that can sit in the center of your entire marketing strategy. And then it can be connected into different tools like the Cognizants and the demand base and the Zoom Infos and the reply.ios and like so on. So it can be connected to various different tool set, because HubSpot also has a very good marketplace for integration, right? It's very easy software to integrate. And most of the software has native integrations with HubSpot. So that puts HubSpot in a very good place to become the choice for ABM. Okay, and also HubSpot has its own built-in ABM tool, which I want to talk about. Right? So they have built-in ABM tool itself by which you can run your ABM campaigns. I would seriously, suggest you to go ahead and watch my HubSpot ABM webinar series. I think we did 3 webinars on that, in which I went to deep dive into HubSpot and ABM. So I actually went deep dive into HubSpot ABM tools, and I went step by step in which I showed how to run ABM campaigns through HubSpot, right? But I sincerely feel, having worked with HubSpot and other softwares as well, I sincerely feel HubSpot is the most suitable platform today when it comes to ABM, right? A, because they have their own inbuilt tools, and B, it can be integrated to a plethora of tools out there in the market by which you can integrate and you can expand your ABM campaigns. Okay. It's also affordable as compared to the big players. It's relatively affordable. It's not super expensive, and they have their startup plans as well, which goes very low. And their API is accessible from $20 or $30 a month, right? So that makes things easier in many ways. And it's an all-in-one software. So it has got the sales hub, it has got the marketing hub. So you don't have to have separate platforms and then do the integration. So your sales and marketing team can work together in one platform. That's also make it very, very useful when it comes to ABM, right? So if I go to my own HubSpot account, this is my own HubSpot account, and as you can see, if I go into the sales hub, I can go into the target accounts, right? So if I click, I just made some dummy. I don't do ABM from this particular account. So I just made some dummy here. But as you can see, I've just put up a bunch of customer names, prospect names from my own contact list. And then, you can just make the tires, assign them the tires and put the life cycle stage and how their engagement is and like so on, right? And just create, just go ahead and create the campaigns. Based on that, you can push it to a dynamic list and run email campaigns, LinkedIn campaigns, not from HubSpot though, you can do the integration. And even you can run ads to very, very specific target accounts, right? So if you want to only target say 100 companies, then the HubSpot has those tool set like this, by which you can do that, right? Okay, so this is a dashboard I created while I was doing the presentation. These are test data, and I created those ABM campaigns. So these are the results of those campaigns, which you can check out. But HubSpot has inbuilt tools, and if you want to know in depth about this, then go ahead and check out my HubSpot ABM series. Right? So, okay. So let's move on to the next one then. What's one HubSpot ABM tactic you think is underused but highly effective? Okay, all right. All right, tactic. So now we're talking about tactic, right? I sincerely feel HubSpot ABM is not readily being used by a lot of companies. I think they're not even aware of how things work when it comes to HubSpot ABM. So a lot of companies, they're not using it. I'll give you an example. For example, suppose you are targeting 100 companies, Fortune 50, Fortune 5,000 companies. Out of that, you're only targeting, say, healthcare companies, right? And you want to reach out to people working for those healthcare companies who are under Fortune 5,000 companies. So maybe you get around 200 companies. And under those 200 companies, you cannot reach out to all the people working for those 200 companies, right? Maybe the company itself can have 100,000 people working for those companies. So if you multiply 200 by 100,000, then you get the number, right? So the beauty of HubSpot ABM is that you can actually create dynamic list, and you can create ICP segmentation. That means you can say, hey, if the account matches this criteria, they are between $50 million to $100 million, they are into healthcare, they are Fortune 5,000, and a bunch of other criteria, right? They're also using HubSpot, or they're using Salesforce or SAP, and like so on. So you can put up a bunch of criteria, and then possibly you'll get 50 companies matching those criteria, right? Or 100 companies, right? Then within that, you can give some more conditions. Right? Now, I want from these 100 companies, I want only people working in CXO levels and IT management people and CIOs, so that will come down to a few thousand people, right? So possibly you are selling some database management security software or something, right? Which is something which is useful for their IT management team and database administration team. So then you can make that list. Based on this condition, you can create dynamic list, right? That means every time a new company comes up, then automatically if the condition matches, the ICPs or the people or the company will go back, be part of this particular list. And then you can create very, very targeted ads. Since HubSpot can be integrated to ad accounts, say LinkedIn ad account, you can push this audiences to the LinkedIn audiences. For example, you can push this data, company data, as well as the people working in those company data. And then you can run LinkedIn ads specific to those companies and specific to those people. It's beautiful, right? Imagine, you're running ads to all the companies in the US, who are database administrator, right? Those are thousands, hundreds of thousands of people. And LinkedIn will show that to each and every one of them. They will ensure that they take every pie out of your ad budget, and then you will get a few leads. But here in this case, you create a very targeted approach. You only target people who are really matching your ICP, and you create the right kind of segmentation, and maybe you can create the right kind of messaging for that segmentation. Do the personalization. If you're talking to IT manager, it will be a different message. If you're talking to database administrator, it will be a different message, and the ads will be different. You will have so much more control over this, and the ROI will be so much better. So I sincerely feel that this approach is highly underutilized, even by a large companies. Okay, because there is a lot of strategy that is involved, and typically your paid ads guy will not be the one who will do all the strategy. So I think this is where the sales team and the marketing team and the executive team also uh, should, and the product marketing team should work together, in sync, and then go ahead and execute. Right. So I have executed a lot of these kind of campaigns, and I've got very good results from this technique. All right. Okay, let's go to the next one. How do you manage multiple stakeholders from the same account within HubSpot? Okay, all right. So I'll just carry forward with the example that I gave you. For example, you are targeting Fortune 5,000 companies. Within that, healthcare as an industry, and within that, you're targeting, say, people who are into IT management, right? Now, people who are into IT management, there are decision makers, there are influencers, and then there are end users, right? So end users can be database administrators, influencers can be IT managers, and the decision makers can be CIO and the CFO in terms of buying your product, right? So there are different levels of players involved within the same company, and possibly you'll have to connect with all of them. If you do a simple outreach, then what you will do is you'll just simply, make a list of all the CXOs. You'll go to Zoom Infos and the LinkedIn sales, and you just make a list of all the CXO working for healthcare industry in USA, and then you start bombarding them with email. But that generally, may not work. For example, if your product is a security product, how is the CIO going to take the decision? Right? Maybe the database administrator and the IT manager can sit together and actually use your product and see whether it's actually effective. And then they will be the one actually pushing your product to the higher management, like the CIOs and the CFOs, to get it procured, right? So when you do that, it's very important to come up with the right kind of strategy. There are multiple players. Okay, and you got to associate the contacts, and also you have to associate the contacts with certain tires and also the ICPs, right? So if the company is a constant object as an anchor, then you have multiple contacts working for the same company, and then there are multiple different properties, for roles and the influence and others, right? If I go back to my target accounts. So if I go back to my target account, so as you can see, so this is my target account, and this is a company. Okay, these are just random company I've added, but I have actually categorized these companies into different tiers, and within those companies also I can find, I can create ideal customer profile. Okay, and then I can find people working for that company, and then create tiers on those as well, right? Okay, who are the decision makers, and I can create multiple customer value field, and then I can create a workflow that based on this certain condition, these contacts will move into different dynamic lists, right? And those lists can be in turn synced to, say, email marketing campaigns or LinkedIn marketing campaigns or ad campaigns, right? So there is a lot of stuff that you can do when it comes to, tiring and leveling up. So the possibilities are humongous. I don't have today the time to show all the details here, but if you go back to my webinar, I think I've already given an example of how this really works. But just put the company as anchor. There will be multiple contacts there, and you have to basically use the custom properties and the standard properties to create the roles and the influence and the titles, both at the company level as well as the contact level. Right? That's the answer to that. What HubSpot add-ons or tools help improve lead scoring and management? Okay, all right. I mean, HubSpot has its own inbuilt lead scoring, very well, inbuilt tools, and it has got the workflows. Uh, so you can basically use the inbuilt lead scoring and the workflows together to actually create some sort of a lead code scoring mechanism in your case. For example, you say, hey, if it matches Fortune 500, if it is between $50 million to $100 million, then make it a tier one company. So all right, so the companies goes into that particular dynamic list, right? After the workflow is triggered, and then you score the company, right? Tier one, tier two, tier three. But then there are the scoring also, right? Some company will have 100 points, other companies will have 50 points, and like so on. Then within that company, there will be different decision makers. So influencers, end users, decision makers. So you can basically create tiers as well as scoring for them as well, right? So if if you want to target a CXO, then possibly based on the location and based on the designation, you will get more points to CXO as compared to say IT manager. Right? So I mean, the use cases will be very specific to your case, but you can create predictive. You can even create predictive lead scoring. Now we have the Breeze Intelligence and HubSpot. I don't want to get into the technicalities here, but HubSpot is not, what I just told you was a condition-based lead scoring. That means if it matches this condition, then give 10 points. If it matches that condition, give 20 points. But now with Breeze Intelligence and with the AI coming into the picture, things are much more dynamic and much more, what do you say? It's user friendly in terms of creating a predictive lead scoring as well. A lot you can do. I cannot get into the Breeze Intelligence part of HubSpot in today's Q&A, but traditionally all those tools are available. If I go back to here, the lead scoring can be done. Workflows can be created, right? So there is a lead scoring one here, okay, and you can create the workflows as well. So if you go there, you can create the workflows as well, and there are some inbuilt tools out there that you can use, right? So basically identify and prioritize your most promising lead score, right? Okay. So there are inbuilt tools that you can use. Okay. All right. So now coming back to our presentation. So once you're done with the lead scoring, the next step is if you want to run the email campaign, you can use HubSpot itself to run the email campaign, or you can use third party. That's up to you. If you want intent data, HubSpot now has the intent data in itself. I talked about, intent data is available. HubSpot acquired Clearbit. So if you take Breeze Intelligence, then it provides a lot of intent data. Okay, but buyer intent is now here. Okay, it's default there with HubSpot, right? For example, web visitor, if you put the HubSpot tracking code, it is, as you can see, I can see my own web visitor right now, right? I can even put the intent criteria. Okay, I also have a intent research. That means, just like Zoom info, I can create a research criteria, and then HubSpot will automatically find companies based on those intent and based on those topics. So HubSpot is coming up with its own tool set, something that the lead feeders and the factors and the six sense were providing. So HubSpot is coming up with their own tools set, but if you're still using those six senses and lead feeders, then you can continue using that. So six sense, lead feeder, cognition, Zoom info, they all provide intent data very well. Right. Having said that, HubSpot also has intent data now. It also provide target market. That means you give a criteria that if a company in North America is looking for database management software, then add them. So it will automatically add them based on the intent signals out there, right? How effective it is, that's a separate discussion, but yes, the data is available within HubSpot. And also you can integrate third parties like Sixth Sense and Cognizance and Zoom Infos for the same data. Okay. Okay. So, and it also has a native LinkedIn Sales Navigator integration. So from there also you can pull up the data, right? Okay. Let's move on to the next one. Oh, I think we are done for today. I thoroughly enjoyed the Q&A. I hope that you also enjoyed the Q&A. We are going to have more such Q&As in which I'm going to answer as much questions that comes to us. Please, if you have any other specific question, go to the comment section and just write down your question. If you feel that there is something that needs to be improved in terms of the content that I've delivered, if you want to disagree, please go ahead and write down the comment section. If there is something that you want to correct me or disagree with me, I'll be very happy. I'm also learning in the process. It's a huge area. Every single day, I consider myself as a student when it comes to B2B marketing. And with you, we can all grow together, right? Thank you so much for joining in. I'll see you in the next one then. Thank you. Bye-bye.